At 2:17 a.m. on a Tuesday, a 21-year-old computer science student in Oakland, California makes a routing error in his homework assignment. A wrong address. A mistyped variable. The kind of mistake that earns you half a mark off on a problem set. Except the wrong address routes him, accidentally, completely, with no warning, into the live transaction logs of 43 banks across 11 countries. And what he sees in those logs stops every thought in his head. Money is moving. Enormous amounts of it. Not through normal channels. Through a ghost network. A shadow infrastructure threaded invisibly through legitimate banking systems that is in the process of executing the largest coordinated financial theft in recorded history. $4.7 billion. Right now. On his screen. He has 4 choices. Close the window. Call the FBI. Call a journalist. Or do the thing that every instinct he has, every hour of code he has written, every system he has mapped, every problem he has refused to walk away from, tells him to do instead. Fit, map it, understand it, and then build something that makes sure it can never happen again. He stays. This is the story of Marcus Yao, a 21-year-old from Oakland who stumbled onto the biggest financial crime in history and decided that wasn't good enough reason to stop doing his homework. Marcus Yao grew up in East Oakland, the son of a high school chemistry teacher and a hospital administrator who between them taught him 2 things: how systems work and what happens when they break. He was 12 when he built his first network monitor, a simple script that mapped every device on his home Wi-Fi and flagged anything unusual. His mother asked if it was for school. He said no. She asked if it was legal. He said yes. She said fine. By 18 he was interning at a network security firm and being quietly asked not to tell the other interns how long it had taken him to pass the firm's internal penetration test. The answer was 40 minutes. The previous record was 6 hours. He arrives at UC Berkeley's computer science program on a partial scholarship with one governing principle that his mother instilled in him and that he has never once violated. If you find something broken, you either fix it or you tell someone who can. You do not look away. Looking away is not neutrality. Looking away is a choice. Marcus Yao has never looked away from a broken system in his life. At 2:17 a.m. on a Tuesday in his junior year, that principle is about to cost him everything and make him everything. The assignment is a network routing exercise. Map a packet's path between 2 servers and document every node it passes through. Marcus has been working since 10 p.m. The lab is empty. The building is quiet. He types a destination address, runs the trace, and watches the output populate on his screen. The trace does not go where he told it to go. It goes somewhere else. Somewhere his command had no business reaching, somewhere that should have been behind 3 layers of authentication and a firewall that costs more per year than his scholarship. His first thought is that he has made a mistake. The mistake has opened a door that should not be open. He is looking at live interbank transaction logs. Real ones. Current ones. And the transactions he is seeing are not normal. 43 institutions. 11 countries. Transfers in increments just below reporting thresholds. The classic fingerprint of a system designed to be invisible. Moving in aggregate, $4.7 billion. He sits very still for approximately 30 seconds. Then he does not call the FBI. He opens a new terminal window and starts mapping. Marcus does not sleep for 72 hours. He tells his roommate he has a deadline. This is technically true. He eats vending machine food. He misses 2 classes. He maps every node, every account, every transfer pathway, every shell company that Phantom, the name he gives the ghost network, routes through. What emerges over those 3 days is a picture of staggering sophistication. Phantom is not a hack. It is infrastructure, built over years, threaded through 12 legitimate financial institutions, using their own routing protocols against them. Whoever built this understood banking architecture at a level that would be impressive in a regulator. In a criminal, it is breathtaking. By hour 60, Marcus has mapped 94% of the network. By hour 72, he has something more valuable than a map. He has a pattern, a specific, repeatable signature in Phantom's routing behavior that is invisible to standard fraud detection but visible once you know what to look for as clearly as a fingerprint. He has not just found the crime. He has found the flaw. And the flaw, he realizes at 2 a.m. on Friday with a cold cup of coffee and 3 days of notes spread across 2 monitors, is something he can build a defense against. At 11 p.m. on Friday, Marcus calls his sister Linda, 4 years older, a paralegal in San Jose, the person in his life who has always known when something is wrong before he says it. He does not tell her everything. He tells her enough. That he found something. That it is very large. That he has a decision to make and he wants to talk it through with someone who will tell him the truth. Linda listens to all of it. When he finishes, she is quiet for a moment. Then, you have 2 real options. You hand it to the FBI and you walk away. Or you build the thing you're already building in your head. He does not deny he is building it in his head. She says, if you go the second route, you file a patent first. You document everything with timestamps tonight. And you tell me everything, because if something goes wrong I need to know enough to help you. He says, nothing will go wrong. She says, document it anyway. He does. He works until 4 a.m. In the morning he calls a patent attorney. Marcus builds Sentinel, a real-time financial anomaly detection system, over 8 weeks while completing his junior year coursework. He sleeps 5 hours a night. He tells nobody what he is building or why. His academic performance does not drop. His roommate notices he has stopped watching television and started drinking a great deal of tea. Sentinel works by identifying the specific routing signature Marcus isolated in Phantom, the Ghost network's fingerprint, and flagging any transaction pattern that matches it, in any institution, anywhere in the world where the software is deployed. It is not a general-purpose fraud detector. It is a weapon built specifically for one enemy. He tests it against the Phantom logs he mapped. Sentinel catches 97% of flagged transactions within milliseconds. The 3% it misses are edge cases that Marcus documents, patches, and tests again. He is 21 years old, building in a Berkeley apartment, and he has just created financial security software that no institution in the world currently possesses. He files the patent at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. He goes to the dining hall for the first time in 6 days. He orders pasta. Eats all of it. Marcus graduates from Berkeley that spring and spends the following 3 months attempting to sell Sentinel to financial institutions. The pitch is simple. Your existing fraud detection has a blind spot. I have mapped it. I have built the solution. I need a contract to deploy it. 11 rejections. The reasons vary. Too young. No track record. The underlying vulnerability he describes, if it exists, would have been caught by existing systems. One compliance officer tells him the documentation he has produced suggests he may have accessed systems without authorization and that continuing the conversation creates legal exposure for the institution. Marcus walks out of that meeting and does not speak for the rest of the day. He goes home. He calls Linda. She says, "Stop going to the people who benefit from pretending the problem doesn't exist. Find the one who benefits from admitting it does." He thinks about that for 2 days. Then he requests a meeting at First Continental Bank, not with the fraud team, not with compliance, but with the chief risk officer directly. He sends a 2-page brief the night before that contains one paragraph the CRO has never seen in 20 years of risk management, a live transaction map of Phantom, dated and time-stamped, showing $4.7 billion moving through First Continental's own routing infrastructure 14 months ago. The meeting with Raymond Cole, chief risk officer of First Continental Bank, lasts 4 minutes before Cole stops Marcus mid-sentence, picks up his desk phone, and calls his head of cybersecurity into the room. The 2-page brief has done its job. Cole has spent the morning verifying, through internal records, that the transaction map Marcus sent is accurate. First Continental's routing infrastructure was used. The money moved through their systems. Nobody at First Continental caught it. Nobody at any of the 42 other institutions caught it. One 21-year-old caught it, 14 months after the fact, with a routing error and 72 hours of obsessive work. Cole does not ask how Marcus accessed the data. He asks one question: does Sentinel catch this in real time? Marcus places a USB drive on the desk.